It's game number 1 here of Stay Green versus Q Squad. So as you can see, Q Squad going to be on the Legion side, Stay Green on the Hellborn side. By the way, I do want to give a quick shout out both to Scumbag Network and Ninja over there. Of course, those top 5 play videos, obviously having some fun with those. I do know, obviously, we are having some audio, sync problems and whatnot, or not sync problems, but as far as the up and down levels, maybe scaring some people a little bit when it comes down to it. But as I said in some forum posts, we definitely are very aware of that, and we are doing what we can on our side to make sure to get that fixed, not only for today, but of course for the future. But with that said, shout out to Scumbag Network. Also, shout out to Scyther, however you pronounce it. Scyther, that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I figured. You're right. Yeah. So Scyther, definitely making those videos as well. We definitely plan to do a lot more of that. And also with that said, hey, community out there, if you want to start making some videos, we'll definitely do our part to promote them here on Honcast. So, anyways, as far as this game is concerned, Artillery Parasite bans coming out from Q Squad, Flux Tundra yet again from Stay Green. So, no more Flux. Now, Q Squad did run Flux in that game 3, I believe it was, against X Trademark, that they actually just dominated with in terms of that game as a whole. So
yeah, a lot of teams seem to be embracing the Flux lately. Styles already highlighting the Kraken here in this game. I gotta say, we saw Cinnamons, he locked up the Keeper of the Forest, Tempest. Q Squad, they actually won the role, and in what is a very unconventional move, opted to take the Legion side over the Hellborn side, prioritizing the first pick in a scenario like this. Also saying that they locked up Forsaken Archer. They actually did play that in that game to come back, the one that featured the Kraken, did feature the FA. Was that? Yeah, that was game 2.
Yeah.
That was that game 2
See,
comeback.
Stay Green locked up Forsaken, though, which is actually interesting.
I'm sorry. The Moon Queen was locked up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm kind of wondering if that's, obviously they saw that and they're like, here, well, here's Forsaken Archer. We know you guys did go with her.
No, more so you can look at it as a ban of sorts, too.
True.
Figuring that they did very well. There's a Moon Queen in there. There's an Ophelia Keeper. So when they do something like that, it's actually taking it out of the pool, knowing that they might have an inclination towards wanting to run it. It takes it out of the game. By making it more inaccessible unless they want to take it at a big cost.
Yeah. So Master of Arms is going to be the first pick coming out here for Q Squad. Didn't really took too much thought there. Oh, another thing to note, by the way, look at who's drafting for Q Squad now.
Yeah, and that's actually been the case for a lot longer than you think. Nova was sitting in the drafter spot for a while, but Unawesome Fan actually had fulfilled that role for a while.
Yeah.
Nova's still playing the support, and I'm not actually sure who does the in-game play calling. I actually need to sit down with QsQ and maybe talk with him about that. But Unawesome Fan has definitely taken over as the drafting role, something he's very passionate about and wanted to do. So, yeah, glad to see him do it. And it looks like they've been performing well, and he's very excited to embrace these new changes. So let's see how this plays out.
Yeah. So as far as the overall banning phase 2, Rally, Engineer, Pebbles, Fade, Deadwood, and then Lodestone coming out for Stay Green as the final ban. Again, Master of Arms, the first pick. So Swinnamelon's putting some thought into this.
Yeah, in terms of Master of Arms synergy, you're not going to see that Deadwood. You're not going to see that Rally for the offensive boost from the Master's Call. However, there's still something like the Keeper of the Forest, the Acid Bomb on top of the Lockdown. Always a very formidable combination. Ophelia has been a hero that if you give Stay Green, they know how to make absolute prime use of it.
Yeah.
Have not seen them run something like that Warbeast Suicide since the patch changes, and well, Bubbles goes along pretty well with that if they wanted to. We'll have to see where they actually go with their third pick. Tough to say.
Something else that Q Squad has been doing a bit of lately, we've already mentioned before, is that Pandemonium that they seem to be liking. So,
but if they are going to go for something like a Kraken here, I would say a Pandemonium.
Oh, yeah, if they go Kraken, then no Pandemonium.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm saying just
for sure,
really.
for sure.
But either one, hell, I would love to see Kraken. I've always thought that he has potential. I love seeing him in the first place.
Well, we got to see Pandemonium. We saw Absolute Legends ran him for a bit. Actually, there in the Pandemonium Master of Arms lane for a bit. Cookies, Mookies, they had a few people playing him. But Kraken, I feel like he's fallen off for a long time.
Yeah, we have not seen him for a long time for sure. Back when the strength game was around with the Armadons and Zephyr went up.
They wouldn't. Not against the Bubbles.
Okay, but they do go Kraken. And look at the first thing that's really standing out to me: the minus armor already. Master of Arms, Kraken, and Andromeda all apply some sort of minus armor against the opposition. So that's something, especially Kraken, is very will like, to say the least, with the splash, especially when it comes down to it. So that's going to be fun to see how that comes into play, and maybe valuing that Keeper of the Force a little bit more for the Hellborn side with that said, too, if they can manage to get him up. So, also something like a Plague Rider.
God, Keeper of the Force plus Kraken is dirty.
Yeah.
That is dirty.
Oh, with that, setting it up very nicely. Also is nice Kraken and Flux.
Well, yeah, Kraken and Flux, obviously, that is a very powerful combination. Flux, he
His
did
ban.
see the
blind
he did see
ban,
the ban,
yeah.
exactly, in Tundra. I was going to say the other thing about it though is that due to the fact that you know, Keeper's Root immobilizes as well. It's not like you get to tablet people out as they're getting pulled into that Kraken ultimate because of the immobilize. They're literally just stuck there.
Yeah. Ooh, Moraxis is the final pick coming out for State Green. So
Nice.
not so much one that we are used to seeing from State Green as of late, but they're going to go the Moraxis.
You know, I've got to say, Breaky, after he took the 0.5 nerf to his magic armor, I thought we would never, to his magic armor, I thought we would never see him again.
Never see him again, man.
Just
That was
that
just
I don't
ruined
even
it,
know.
man. That just ruined it.
I don't even know.
Yeah, he was one of those heroes in the patch where you're like, okay, really? I guess. Okay, cool.
All right, State Green gets their choice of junglers here.
Yeah.
The very powerful Keeper Tempest combination. Otherwise, Ophelia seems to be. I mean, I've never seen State Green. They're not known to pass up an Ophelia. I know they usually typically value him as the top jungler in the game. And for a while, we actually saw Ophelia consistently lose against Keeper of the Forest and Tempest because people weren't playing the right kind of lineups for a while. They were just playing really passive late game lineups. They weren't playing that bursty presence that, you know, even Fnatic used to run back in the day with the Deadwood and the Pebbles, things that we see nowadays more often. And once again with Ophelia taking advantage of her strength.
Yeah.
Once people started just utilizing her more effectively and picking her with heroes like Master of Arms, picking her with heroes with that more bursty presence, we noticed just direct increase in Ophelia win rate once again in that matchup. But yeah, no, very powerful teams on both sides. A lot of suction coming out from the Legion side there between the Kraken and the Tempest.
Well, you know, something I like that Jonas Fan did here for Q Squad is with that Moon Queen first pick, sure, it gave them the option to get the jungles of their choice with that Keeper Ophelia in the end, but at the same time, it did take away that option of getting the carry, the very solid carry, of course, in a Moon Queen. Of course, there was Forsaken Archer still on the board, but, you know, State Green has, well, I guess they do have Slicks, actually. So
Slicks, actually, that was known to be his favorite
yeah,
carry
he has
for a long
plenty of
time.
history on that, so I guess the more I'm thinking about it, maybe not as critical, so... But still, Moon Queen is, I think you can safely say, is even scarier than the Forsaken. So
Sure, so right now, we looked at the fact that they picked Andromeda up as their support. Going up against an Ophelia, the thing that screams at me most is, yes, they have Master of Arms, but there is an overall lack of AoE presence here on the Legion team. On top of that, Moon Queen, Ophelia is pretty formidable against Moon Queen as well. The heal, you think about those bounces, they're being distributed among different targets. The heal sort of compensates for the fact of that damage, the AoE damage coming out. On top of the fact that you have 3 major creeps, usually with you for all team fights, helps make up for a lot of the damage output coming out from her ultimate.
Lack of AoE damage, I think it's a little. I mean, Kraken can definitely put out a decent amount. Tempest obviously has good AoE presence.
No. You cannot count Kraken as a counter pusher.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, yeah, I get, yeah, you're right. There.
Like, I'm more speaking in terms of, like, you got the the Pyro Tort pushback that State Green had last game against YX6 supposedly. The team name is yeah. Apparently, people have touched out calling them YX6, like yes times 6.
Yeah.
And they're okay with it. So that's what I'm going with from here on out is YX6.
YX6.
Yeah.
Again, there was even a forum post made about them in between the games that I saw, or the series even, of hoping that they stick around. Because, yeah, it seems like they were definitely a solid team put together, and obviously they gave State Green a run for the money and did very well against them, and after just being a new created team, really. So definitely hope to see them around. In general, it's obviously just more teams in general. So. But yeah, the minus armor over here on the Legion side, that's definitely something to really keep a close eye on. Obviously, the 3 of the 5 heroes, the Kraken, the Master, and the Andromeda, all the 3 that they picked initially, bringing that to the table. So Nox going to be on the Moon Queen, though. Nox, a great hard carry player, of course, and I'm sure he's going to be just happy being in that Moon Queen role here. So I am excited to see this Kraken, though. He's not using. I'm not a huge fan of this. Honestly, I like the default.
I think you like the default.
I like the default.
You don't like the Narwhal.
Personally.
You don't like the Narwhal.
Not really. It's just the default Kraken. I think is just so good.
Yeah,
but
it makes
not
sense.
that I don't like the other skins. But
well, yeah, this one's interesting. But either way, going back to the counter push though, the minus armor from Master is very powerful. But the effects of that will be even more damaging with an Andromeda. We don't actually get to see Andromeda with that Master of Arms acid bomb that often.
Yeah.
But if he chooses to max out that Aurora. Come level 7, the minus armor, -5 from that, -5 from the acid bomb, -10 onto those creeps as the tower is beating on it. Maybe I spoke too soon about not having enough counter push.
Yeah, there is going to be a fair amount. So,
we've seen Keizu. I want to say he's actually been playing the short lane more often on the Keeper of the Forest in these matchups, and right now we see him actually walking over the top lane again. It could be the case that he is doing the same thing this game. They've had success with it.
Now he is heading towards the bottom lane, however.
Yeah,
so
he does have a shield, no hatchet here, and he's looking like he's just wanting to be able to tank as much harass as possible, straight up regen and a shield. So leans more towards that. On top of the fact that, well, looking like they're just wanting to. It looks like the bubble. He actually has pulled regen. He's going to be going up against. Are they going to try to aggressively run this Moon Queen? It looks like that could very well be the case. And if he's going up against the bubbles, that's okay. He just has to be a little bit wary here. You know, of Chessie playing that Ophelia.
Well, first off, thing to note is also the who's playing what hero. I mean, Slick's actually on the bubbles here, not a hero we see him to play too often when it comes to it. But again, this lineup is they don't really have that great potential. Usually, we'd maybe see him play Torture in this case, but they needed Torture to be the support role in this lineup. So, Swinamel's of course on the Meraxis, but yeah, Slick's playing that bubble. So as you mentioned, though, he's going to be that short lane matchup, and it looks like to be at least a. You would think to eventually be a pseudo tri-lane setup. I mean, Andromeda right now going to start in the middle lane, just kind of roaming around a little bit. But although Tempest is actually going towards his own jungle, so interesting here actually.
Yeah. So Moon Queen figuring it's going to be 1v1 matchup for a bit is apparently confident in going up here to the top lane. They don't have anything to block this close hard camp. So, well, luckily it's not. Okay, I was going to say luckily, but look right over there at the medium camp right above him. They didn't block that, and sure enough, it's spawning a Minotaur. So. You know, Chessie being the great Ophelia that he is.
Gets the spawns.
Yeah, and Nova choosing to roam around already, actually with 2 counter wards.
Yeah.
Spotting out Z-Freak's Ward of Sight instantly here.
Yep.
And hopefully going to try to disrupt Ophelia a little bit in the jungle. The spawn doesn't have Aurora yet. I can't really block it. Aurora does leave an object place, but yeah, is unable to get over there. So Catman and a Minotaur at Chessie's ranks.
I'm sure Nova's happy to have this Rev Wards back at 0.
Oh yeah.
He's obviously
pretty
really
sure every
known
support
for
player is, man.
Every support player in general, sure, but yeah, with his history, I mean, he loves using those wards, man. Loves using those.
I gotta say that was one of the most suggested things by the competitors, though. Changing the portals, changing the rev wards, not being available at the 0-minute mark. Get that nuke off, McQueen. Get the nuke off. Get the nuke off.
There's a stun. There's a nuke on top. It does stop the Shell Serpent. Slicks is now in a lot of trouble right here. Hero blocking coming out from Andromeda. Has another combo set in 3 seconds. Ophelia running over. It's not gonna matter. Nox gets the bloodlust kill here for Q Squad. So the aggressive Moon Queen lane ends up working out in the end for a bloodlust kill. Big start for Q Squad.
Yeah, first blood for Nox. Chessie not able to make use of those awesome creep camps he had, and well, they should have known Andromeda was nearby. Just honestly, perfect timing on the disables coming out from Nox and Andromeda. I thought Moonbeam was going to come out first just to guarantee that you know, Bubbles didn't sort of dodge away there, but yeah, he got the lead stun, the Comet, made it work, and well, huge initiative coming out. We see the Torture. Curious to see if he's going to maybe try to roam top lane with the Ophelia at some point to try to make something happen. Now that Moon Queen has the Bloodlust skill, has her earlier boots, it's going to be a lot tougher to gank her.
Well, you know, speaking of Chessie, he actually chose to keep the Vagabond leader, by the way, that whole time. He did not take over the Minotaur. He actually killed it. His Vagabond's going to die right here.
Yeah, it was primarily for farm speed.
Yeah.
He had the Catman coming out anyway. Helped him farm that double camp a lot faster. And from here on out, he actually has a Catman that maybe he's going to be edge the Andromeda out. Doesn't seem confident in his approach at all, though.
Well,
and
Torture
Nova
is
has
coming
vision.
over. They wanted to maybe wait a little bit for him, and so he is running over now. The Catman Champion can get a range. Nice comment set on the Catman Champion. That will stop any attempt on a Moon Queen.
Yeah.
And it will keep him alive, so.
So QsQ coming into this game looking strong. Let's take a look at this Master of Arms versus Meraxis matchup in middle. And how they're farming. Actually, Meraxis doing a phenomenal job. He did have the Torture with him for a while, though, so that does explain a lot. I was going to say.
Oh! Moon Queen in the top lane. He gets gone on once again, and Nox will fall. So he thought for some reason that it was all just going to go away, and he tried to go back up, get another creep killer or so in, and obviously it was not going to be.
Ophelia and Tort were still missing.
Yeah.
There's no reason to.
I don't really get that at all.
Feel confident or take that risk, because that is a huge turnaround for the lane once again. Now all of a sudden you see that the bubbles equalized with the Moon Queen and farm. So, and now the Moon Queen's forced the portal back as well. It's definitely taking a hit there.
So odd decision there by Nox, but in the end he is back to farming there at the top lane. Bottom lane, the only one we haven't talked too much about yet, Kraken versus Keeper. Kraken is 19-4, Keeper is 16-5. So a pretty heavy back and forth matchup here. It seems like Kraken, especially against another melee hero in a 1v1, very, very powerful, especially with that splash. So expect him to have a good time, and he is winning the matchup at least. But KsQ knows how to play this Suicide Keeper, man. And he is doing a phenomenal job.
He is. I mean, right, honestly, it's two tanks is having the last hit war down here.
Yeah.
They both hit hard. They can both get easy CS. having the time of their life. QsQ did. You actually noticed he did pick up a hatchet to assist him in the lane. Which, if he was going to get Kraken without it, that would have been a suffer. But
you know what else I'm excited about Kraken for is that I think we finally are going to get to see the Elder Parasite picked up.
You're feeling confident in that?
Oh, yeah. Kraken, he just seems like a hero, especially with the change that screams Elder Parasite to me.
He is a hero. Did you take a look at how Nox played him in the previous game?
And I was going to say, from what I recall, I believe when QsQ played him, he also did get an Elder Parasite. So
I mean, I can see that with that early tanky presence, with that Beast Heart, and how powerful his. I mean, his splash got a buff. It is absolutely.
It seems
ridiculous.
like it's an obvious item for me.
Honestly, it does. It does. And with how tanky he is, and really, that actually is interesting. He actually got Demonic here. He got a Demonic, an Elder Parasite, and a Shaman's Headdress and Steam Boots. So just really a lot of attack speed, a lot of hurt being laid out. Interesting.
So he finishes the Steam Boots right here.
No, that game that they won, they were coming back. Like, they had a comeback victory.
Oh, yeah?
I almost wonder if he wanted the Elder Parasite to have something as more of an impact item. You know, maybe turn the game around. But even outside of that, honestly, the tankiness it gives you, you could definitely make a case for it over Helm.
Getting it early on. So, again, we'll see what the progression goes like for Style here, playing the Kraken.
You know what the other thing is about that Elder Parasite is how much faster it lets a Kraken farm neutrals. Compared to, say, going a Helm of the Black Legion.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's not going to lose life when he's doing it still thanks to that life leech and just how fast he kills it. So you're really able to power farm effectively.
So, yeah, again, it seems like it really is a case of one of those items that it's built for him almost. So I would definitely be excited to see him using that new item because we have yet to see it, at least
Torture.
in an impactful moment.
Oh, looked like he was going to try to find the angle there, but Andromeda is on point there, ready to stun in case he gets it.
Oh, wow. Morax is really going in here. The Matrix actually going to be used as well as a W, actually absorbing the Q from Master of Arms. I'm sorry, using the letters right there. But the Arcane Shield absorbed the blast shot attempt from Master of Arms. He tried to push him back right there. That was a good reaction from Pseudomelons. But in the end, Jonas Fan actually ends up staying alive. So well put in his part. And look at that. A regen rune. He'll get botted up. He's going to the bottom lane, but QsQ already getting back. I wonder if he's going to maybe push it. No, he's going to go back towards the middle. Good attempt by Swinmelons, but wasn't able to get the kill.
Yeah, so the early Steam Boots, the other change we saw to Kraken is not that it matters as much if you have the Steam Boots picked up, but you are able to cast all of your spells there at level 1, guaranteed, no matter your item route. Not really coming into play here, and, well, can't really make note of it as such, but that was another small buff you received that had bigger implications.
Yeah. Top lane, Moon Queen, again, she got the bloodless kill. She died shortly after, but she is farming 270 gold per minute right now.
She's fine.
Seems like she is doing just fine here at the top lane. So, again, her early game presence was nerfed as a result of this patch, but her late game, as we've seen already several times this weekend, in fact, earlier today even, still very dominant. So, in fact,
so did Nox pick up an attribute bonus? It looks like he may have.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, you're right. Huh. Yeah, the 3 in the Moon being the 1 in the Aura. Yeah, it looks like he did, actually. I mean, he doesn't want to really be multi-striking up here to push the lane, so I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, but also just wants to get a little bit tankier. In fact, going to go into Bubbles right here. Does he have Moonfell? No, he doesn't actually. Putting in the auto attacks, Bubble will be able to Shell Surf away, so kind of curious about that. I mean, I guess they still harass him out of the lane, but if he had Moon Finale, I feel like they could have gotten a kill right there.
He's not level 6 yet.
Oh, well, I'm saying if maybe waited till level 6 to
I think it's always good to burn regen, though. I mean, if they just combo the hero over and over again, still caught out of position. With that confidence, they harassed the Bubbles back, and they just weren't expecting it. At this point, he's got Kelp Field up.
That's not happening.
No.
Honestly,
just think about the wasted gold, and now on top of that break, he can't even teleport back to lane.
Yep.
I think they keep forgetting about the fact that the Ophelia and Torture are camping behind. I mean, I don't know.
You just can't. You're a Moon Queen Andromeda. I mean, you're not a.
When they were sitting behind the river, that was okay. I don't know why they keep feeling like it's safe to go. It's not like they've shown their presence anywhere else. It's not worth the potential 2 CS.
Oh, top lane. Here we go. Master of Arms running in right here. Isn't going to be able to do much. Puts the acid down. The support just not fast enough, though. Again, with the TP changes, they can't get there in time. Master of Arms going to turn on, however. Give it the skull. Not going to be out there. It's that Kraken ultimate holding Torture in place. And Z Freak will fall. That Tempest ultimate pulling in Bubbles. And out comes the Q from Kraken as well. The Torrent, the charge on top of that, and down falls Bubbles. So it looks like it's actually pretty good for QsQ right now. Andromeda throwing out the Aurora. Kraken is on the run. The Matrix Explosion not enough for the kill. The Kama Sun to help finish him off or stun him in place. At least Kraken is going to survive in the end. And now Moraxis being turned on. Ophelia is going to go for the port out. Not going to happen though. Charge shot connects. and Chessie is going to end up falling. So it will end up being a 3-for-1 exchange.
There it goes.
In the very end. So Q Squad does get the last lap for the top fight there.
Very well played. That Beast Heart coming into play for Kraken, which is very likely going to be the Elder Parasite here, and it's 130 extra gold. The Beast Heart, man, I thought he was for sure going to die to that Meraxis, and I was like, oh, he actually made it out. It was a fully charged Meraxis shield. Andromeda had walked into melee range of it as well. It looked potentially grim, but just excellent coordination coming out from Q Squad, turning it around. I thought at first Master of Arms should have stunned them while they were closer to the tower and actually used his W instead of his Fork Lightning instead of his Acid Bomb, just to slow them a little bit more for the heroes that were porting in while they were still grouped up, but either way.
Oh, Bubbles take cover, gonna avoid a little bit of damage right there, but no, he gets exploded on with the Fork Lightning. Swap from
Huge
Andromeda! Big swap indeed! Master of Arms will be alive as a result. Andromeda might actually, no, she went for the TP, but the chain reaction stopped it immediately, and Nova will fall, but a big swap to save a Jonas fan in the beginning, and at least keep him alive. So 1-for-1, or I guess 2-for-1 exchange going on right there.
Was he swapping Jonas fan, or was he? He was, right? Or
yeah, he swapped Jonas fan, yeah.
Okay, it wasn't him swapping him. Okay, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, he saved
yeah, he dipped into the woods there. He was like, uh-oh. Getting boxed out. Made it on out. Meanwhile, Kraken's still farming mid lane. Have to go for a power supply a little bit before finishing up the Elder Parasite, just because he realized he was running out of mana a little bit too quickly, even with those steam boots.
Oh, man. Well played by Keizu. He actually...
Meraxis in prime position here, though, Breaky.
You see, in the middle lane, Kraken putting in the damage with the Master of Arms vulnerability coming out. Kraken, Tsunami charging away, runs right into Bubbles. Now, release the Kraken is up here. Not going to be necessary, though. The tower will be denied, though. But the bottom tower, I was going to say, Keeper of the Forest did some damage on it, but he fell back knowing he wasn't going to get the tower kill, but he still made sure it was out of deny range. So, still giving his team a chance to ultimately get the tower kill in the end. Master of Arms coming back here in the middle lane. And actually, Swinnemelons might be in some trouble. Kraken is here as well. There's a charge shot to release the Kraken. Not going to be used just yet. There's a release of Kraken right on top of Meraxis. The Matrix is up, though. So Swinnemelons able to take the damage. The Torrent comes out, putting this one in. A swap from Andromeda. The Affiliate's touch going to be used, but Moon Queen also joining the party, and down goes Swinnemelons. A lot had to be used, but they get the kill. In the meantime, Tempest pushes the bottom tower while that was all happening.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw that Andromeda comment, I'm like, oh, it's going to stun it right in that Kraken's Whirlpool range, it's going to pull him on in, add that additional stun. He winded up just getting out of the reach of the Whirlpool when that stun hit. Didn't matter, though, due to the fact that Moon Queen was coming on in. Stay Green realizes, though, they have an opportunity here to potentially pressure the top lane. Let's take a look at ports here. While they're pushing mid, it is going to be a tower trade. Kraken still has his port up, Master of Arms with nothing, though, so this is going to be a free tower coming out for Stay Green. Well, I shouldn't say free, it is coming at the cost of their middle lane, but making the best of a bad situation.
Yep. Again, they're just really, really good at doing that, but still, Q Squad has to feel fairly confident with where they're at right now. 1,600 gold lead, 1,900 experience lead, and you see a couple of items that are being picked up. Energizer just finished on Master. Nox is able to purchase his Whispering Helm now, just a matter of when. Kraken has enough gold for the Elder Parasite now.
He might go for the Soul's Bulwark first, though, to amplify the effects of that magic armor. Ophelia nowhere to be found here, so she's not going to be able to assist in that bottom fight for at least 25 seconds here. So at this point, they have to decide, are we able to defend it without our Ophelia? Should we do this? Kraken's ultimate is down. I would not push it if I was Q Squad.
Tempest does have his Elemental Void, but yeah, you mentioned release the Kraken down for 20 seconds, so not going to risk it.
They don't have Moon Queen, you know, so it is going to be a 4v4 either way. I would just be content to be like, hey guys, we have the Moon Queen. Actually, Shaman's Headdress, really smart pickup, actually, considering the amount of magic damage and the total lack of physical outside of an impalement coming out here from the Hellborn team. Going to pick it up first, and he's like, well, you know, I'll go the Elder Parasite when I need that additional damage.
Yeah, and the reason why I like that even more is because of the amplified damage they already have from all the minus armor effects that he's going to be able to take advantage of. So it's not like they're lacking that physical damage presence even still.
Oh, no, for sure. And his splash alone just guarantees that he hits hard. It's like he's semi-farmed up. That is an incredible passive. I mean, look at 170 bonus damage.
And it used to be more powerful. I mean, that thing is that ability's been tweaked
back
quite
to
a bit.
Its previous point, isn't it? If not slightly more, isn't it? Or was it even more powerful than that? Was it?
Well, I remember it's even got through stages of where you had to use it before, rather than.
Oh, I remember way back. Yeah. But when it was a passive, I'm curious actually.
I can't say for sure actually. So
I know it's around where it used to be, though. If not.
Well, Keeper the Force, again, I mentioned about that case. It's just small things like that, though. He kept it out of deny range, and look at that. A couple minutes later, he comes back in and he gets the tower kill. Ophelia's going to be gone on here at the top lane. Ophelia's touch going out, getting blocked by his own minions. Oh, but good job with the Minotaurs, and setting up a turnaround right here. In comes Torture and Bubbles. Down goes Andromeda, and Nox is also going to fall. He used the Moon Finale on top of that. A double tap for Chessie. What a big turnaround by Chessie right there.
Yeah, it was huge. The creeps absorbed it. He didn't get the additional bounce onto Ophelia, but honestly, with 3 creeps there, how can you counter that and the neutrals? It's I would say a pretty risky play when you're the team that has the Moon Queen. You're the team that wants to scale into the late game. You don't need to be making that happen. I mean, honestly, they were looking phenomenal, so I don't like the fact that they took that risk. There were Ancients that could have been farmed. Z-Freak does have a ward down there right now, but you know, safe plays. They didn't have any way to have information as to where the enemy team was, whether they'd be coming or not. So in making that gank, it was something that just wasn't thoroughly calculated.
TP coming in the middle end, it's going to be Moon Queen. So, yeah, the Moon Queen, even after that death, though, she is still farming 290 gold per minute, solid amount. Kraken really leading the way here, though. 433 GPM on Style, playing the Kraken, making a statement here that this hero is viable.
It's only 900 gold on top of the Beast Heart, so if he wants to get it at any point in time. So he doesn't have to. But yeah, just keeping that as a tank item, he's able to... I mean, honestly, it's just fine. It gives a lot of health.
Again, it's eventually something that will turn into a Elder Parasite. It's just a matter of when now. Look at the choice by Slicks here. So, again, as I was making the point earlier, this is not a team that really has a carry hero at all.
Or a power,
but
kind of makes anyone a carry hero.
Yeah. There's the Elder Parasite, by the way.
It's not even...
You did purchase the Elder Parasite, but yeah, Grimoire power, Bubbles, I'm sure, just as you made the point, I mean, any hero, frankly, can make him very, very powerful and very deadly. So
Elder Parasite is picked up, and I do like that he's picking up earlier than not, just to increase his farming ability. He's already at the top of the curve, but just increasing it even more so, and giving that huge presence right now in fights is something I approve of.
It is interesting, though, because with going this light brand, at least initially, I mean, he's not getting a portal key or even a tablet here. Which is what we just usually see from Bubbles.
He is literally just playing more of that straight carry role. Kongor is being taken out there, taking that top tower, but still, the Kongor, man, I don't know.
Who's the token?
Bubbles? All of a sudden, the game's even out.
Bubbles picks up the token. Morax is with the portal key, obviously a huge pickup there for State Green. And look at this mass push, man. The Ophelia minions, the Keeper minions, everyone joining the party. Will the Legion team, will QsQ be able to stop this? Kraken is level 11. He just got the Elder Parasite as you were talking about. Tempest is ready to go as well. Oh, look at the jump up from Morax. They say, we're going to take it to you. Moon Queen in the background. Nice swap from Andromeda, though. Swapping out Tempest. That might sacrifice himself, but that's what Andromeda does. She will fall. No Whirlpool coming out. Just said, there's the release on Kraken. It gets a couple of heroes. The Tempest ultimate on top of it as well. And Papa Molly will eventually get stopped by Torture, but down goes Morax's. The pull with the agonizing bonds. The impalement from Torture doing a lot of damage. Tempest will fall. Kraken goes down. Moon Queen in the background has to run. And now Master of Farms, he's also going to be on the run. The couple more auto attacks, he will eventually go down. And Stay Green wins that fight pretty damn well right there. The tower is still up, but they come out on top of hero kills 4-2, it looks like.
Yeah, Moon Queen was not picked off over. I was actually watching that fight. Kraken chose he knew he was taking a lot of stun, he was taking a lot of lockdown. Opted not to use that Elder Parasite, was sort of holding on to it. It does give him the extra tankiness still, and extra attack speed. Even if he, you know, it does give you attack speed as well. It does keep that bonus even when you don't have it activated. So.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah, opted not to use it that fight. I was looking to see. He had a good whirlpool. He had 2 heroes in it, but there's way too much lockdown and does not want to deal with it at the time being. The Moon Finale, man, it just it's having a rough time against Keeper minions and Ophelia.
Yeah, she's it almost. I mean, again, it's not obviously a hindsight thing, but maybe this is a game where Forsaken could have possibly been a better option here because of just that alone, even, but. Obviously, you know, the late game, I mean, Moon Queen getting to that point.
Yeah,
by the
I
way,
think Moon Queen's is...
Look what she's going for. Mighty Blade, Quick Blade. You know
yeah,
what that
the
means.
No.
Brutalizer.
No, she just she built up the one for health and is going to the other one for
the Fireburn eventually. Come on, Brutalizer, do it. Do it, Nox.
I would actively quit casting if he picked up a Brutalizer.
Oh boy. Hopefully he's not tuning in.
Well, it's 6 minutes delay, and he's going to have Zion bought by then. So.
Good point.
I'm saying.
He didn't say when. He could still get it after, so.
No.
You're setting yourself up there.
Doesn't count. So Burial picked up. They didn't actually have that major team fight item before. Now that Burial on top of the heal means that Moon Queen is to be even more useless, actually, in her approach.
Yeah.
And you look at terms of other magic damage, they don't have that much else to mitigate. A lot of that will just go towards soaking up Moon Queen's ultimate.
Yeah, true, very true. Andromeda did choose to max out her Comet Stun, by the way. I don't know if we really touched on that, but she's level 8. Nova's actually leveling I guess it is pretty low. Yeah, it's actually very low compared to everyone else now that I really look at it.
Nova's taking off this game. Like, that's
I was going to say, it's like, oh, she's not bad. Oh, never mind. That's actually pretty bad. But speaking of that, though, look at Z-Freak on the other hand. Level 11 support Torturer.
Yeah, well, I blame that was due to the credit of winning that team fight. Also blame a lot of this game and the way the momentum shift happened to the pickoff that happened top lane when Andromeda and Moon Queen tried to go on a solo endeavor and killing that Ophelia. Yeah. It was honestly just... It was really risky, and it set a very bad pace here and a very bad sequence of events that have now turned out for QsQ. Yeah.
So right now, though, a little more slower pace of the game here. It's 12 to 8 hero kills, so as we've really been seeing throughout this whole weekend. I mean, I don't think there's really been a very slow game, honestly, that we've covered at least. It's just... No. We've definitely had some pretty intense, just action-oriented games. A lot of kills happening, so it's definitely been fun to see. Another example here as we are 20 minutes into the game, just about. Moon Queen continue to farm here in the middle lane. You got Andromeda. Nova's basically just babysitting this Moon Queen right now, ready to swap if necessary.
Or help her out. Power all but completed on bubbles too, by the way. So it's going to be exciting to see that play.
Yeah, he is getting very close to that. You're right. So.
Remember, guys, it's 15% on all damage. It includes damage to creeps and everything. So once you just farm incredibly fast on top of the dot, your auto attack damage gets increased 15%. So it's like a number that you have to calculate as well.
Slick showing that you can carry on any hero, man, even Bubbles. Yeah, attempt to do that here at least. Firebrand just picked up by Moon Queen, so she does finish that, and we think now probably going to be the Shuriken head next. The tower's going to fall down here. Obviously, your Q squad, you're not really looking to defend that outer tower. You're pretty much giving them up at this point. Going to be looking to fight at your base, however. The token of life does have 2 minutes 20 seconds remaining, so there's still a lot of time. Look at the barrier idle use right there. All these minions and heroes. Holy crap. This is okay. This is interesting. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well, our base is being destroyed. What do we do though? Goo goes down. Kraken obviously here. He actually used the Elder Parasite. You can see, and he's just gonna help clean up as much as possible. So the tower does stay alive in the end. That's the good news there for our Legion team at least. Able to hold off the initial. Soul's Bulwark finished by Kraken, by the way. He eventually got that as well.
Yeah, well, the minus armor in combination with the Aurora in combination with the Acid Bomb should be effective in at least holding off this push as much as possible. Kraken sort of playing the role as front man. I really like Meraxis with this defensive team in general. Like, they have all the support items up the Ophelia. It's just like they can't really, they don't have an answer towards bursting him down.
Meraxis trying to find any opportunity possible. The Grimoire of Power, again, just to kind of scroll over it to give you guys an idea, in case you don't know or aren't too familiar with the item, just like myself, as far as what exactly it does. But yeah, the 50% overall damage increase, the farming tool that applies with the dot now on the creeps. It's a very powerful item for Bubbles right here. Barrier idol going to be coming out right here once again. They are going to be able to get the tower killed. Oh, Meraxis jumps in, excuse me, on a Tempest and a Kraken right there. Team of the Master's Call coming into Tempest. Looking for a turnaround. There's a Tempest ultimate coming out. Kraken ultimate as well. In the back, locking up Bubbles and why not? Tempest going to be teleported away. Matrix will explode. Tempest still alive. Finally going to follow Swamp out. Not going to save him in time. Moon Queen out in a vulnerable spot. She will go down as well. Kraken in the front line. Still doing some damage though. Charging back Keeper. But realizing it's just a little bit too much. Torrent going to be used right there. Moon Queen does buy back. Nice Matrix, or nice Arcane Shield coming out from Meraxis right there. Absorbing the charge shot, going to get away in the meantime, so going to kind of reset some things. I don't know if they're going to be able to get the melee racks, though, at this point.
They could honestly heal up and just go straight back for it. Their cooldowns will be up, a bit before the Tempest ultimate is up, and they won that fight anyway, so honestly, yeah, reset, do it quick, come right back down there, and they're going to be looking at some heavy punishment. Yeah. We saw the Tempest ultimate into the Kraken ultimate, all of that combined, they still weren't taking any damage there on the Hellborn side. They didn't care. They honestly did not care.
Yeah, they are very beefy as a team, and the heal support, as that's what you're referring to earlier on. It's going to take a lot more from this Legion side, that's for sure. I mean, Moon Queen, again, we know the damage output that she can eventually do, but still needs a ways to go before she gets to that scary point. So still only 23 minutes into this game. Lex Telionis picked up here by Torturer. Z-Freak making a point that he actually does like to see this item, or like to pick up this item, I should say, on a support role. So that's definitely good to see. I mean, hell, he's farmed up quite a bit.
Instead, no.
Oh, wait, he sold it, yeah. Okay, never mind. Way to make me look bad. Picking up the Bound Eye instead.
Well, he has, of all players I've seen so far, he has been the player to embrace it the most. definitely finds it to be pretty damn useful. So
yeah. Bubble's going for a Shrunken Head himself now. Picking up the Mighty Blade here. As, honestly, it's, hell, I guess it could be a Ice Brand into a Frosted Skull. I mean,
it's going to be a Shrunken Head, though.
Yeah, probably.
I would say so. Because,
right.
yeah, if he... I was taking a look like it comes out a lot sooner. If he needs that, he doesn't need any more lockdown. His team has plenty of lockdown, so a Frostful Skull would just seem.
And you're not going to outcarry Moon Queen in the end, so why even attempt to? Yeah.
And if you wanted to outcarry her, it's not going to give you that burst physical damage. So yeah, Shrunken Head going to be the route to go, and he's going to jump on in there with that Grima Power to be absolutely devastating. So yeah, should be fine.
Keeper of the Forest Restoration Stone for Keizu has been on the works for a little bit here. Obviously, the Arcana picked up. Kraken keeping up the GPM, upwards of 400 gold per minute. Keeping that number up there. Andromeda level 9, so she has maxed out Comet and Aurora now. That means she's going to start leveling up her Dimensional Link here, the Aura, and that on top of the Moon Queen Aura. Got to keep that in mind, so when they're nearby, it's a double Aura buff going to be coming out here for the Legion team. That's definitely another benefit.
I can't believe we forgot to actually mention that earlier on the synergy, but honestly, it's something that you look at, and yes, it does exist, but by the time Andromeda is that
realistic
level,
potential of it being useful,
yeah, sometimes you do see the 1 point of Comet build. It is more unpopular ever since, especially the Comet mana cost did get reduced a little bit at the early levels finally again, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And just became a little bit more usable, and I think they gave her a little bit more mana at the start. It was a while ago, and people were really upset about the fact that Andromeda got nerfed.
Yeah, it's just more so the idea that the radius of the auras is like it's pretty small, and on top of that, again, Andromeda actually staying alive and being near to have it really affect maximum efficiency isn't realistic. So, but again, for now, continuing to be more back to a little bit of a farming stage here.
Yeah, when it comes to base demolishing and pushing, though, afterwards it is.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Fight, so.
Even quicker with that now. So Shrunken Head is getting close for Bubbles here. Perhaps that will be the next cue for Stay Green to make a move. Look at Zephyr right here using the Bound Eye and spotting a Ward of Sight with it. So well played. There's Congo resurrecting. So he is back up. Good to go here for the Hellborn side, for Stay Green at least, if they choose to do so. Kind of positioning themselves as Chessie is headed towards the Congo area for now, so looks like Stay Green is definitely interested in doing it.
They can't give up another token, especially with how tanky that team is. They don't want to do that at all. Shrunken Head now picked up by Bubbles. It's a case where right now they don't need to worry about picking off any specific target here on the Legion side. Moon Queen's nice, but still with all that mitigation they have, the fact that she's not fully taken late game form yet, and the way they have to deal with her ultimate, they don't need to actually like focus her down in order to win these fights. Meanwhile, it's like impossible for the Legion side to kill anything on the Hellborn team, with Meraxis being the point man, being the one that jumps in, the Burial, the Astrolabe, the heal. They just have way too much. Bubbles, he's a mobile and slippery hero to begin with as well. Now that he has a Shrunken Head, Bubbles is hard enough to kill without that, man. So it's like, who do you initiate on? How do we even exactly do that? Tempest doesn't have a portal key. He doesn't want to be the one jumping in there. He's getting a Shrunken Head here, but otherwise, yeah, Kraken takes a little bit of setup. Initiation advantage is explicitly in Stay Green's favor. Yeah.
The Legion takes down a Hellborn.
Okay, they do get a bottom tower kill from Master of Arms, and the top tower looks like is going to fall as well for QsQ, so they are going to get a couple tower kills here. Now, granted, they are giving up a middle tower, and now here we go with Stay Green. They are going to go into the melee racks that is, of course, open to be gone on right here. No tower already, so the melee racks are going to take some damage. Moon Queen has ported back, so it is a 5 versus 5 right now. Geometer's Mage's Purchase, here we go. Meraxis jumps in, though, on a Master of Arms, going for the initiation. Big swap from Andromeda, though, keeping him alive for now. Meraxis is actually getting somewhat blocked here. Looks like he's going to be fine. Oh, he has a Nature's Veil on him, actually, so good amount of armor and some regen onto him. Moon Queen doesn't have buyback now, though. Big thing to note here. She did just finish that Geometer's Bane, so... and on top of that, I mean, choosing to go the Geometer's Bane finish instead of maybe finishing a Shrunken Head is also kind of curious. But obviously, I mean, Geometer's Bane does more damage output. On top, you can still get out of stuff like the Root from Keeper of the Forest, I guess. So keeping that in mind. But we'll see if this push now, Barry Rattle is not up just yet. Oh, it is up, actually.
It is up, and actually, she is Just looking like she's going to get that Shrunken Head eventually too, hopefully. But by that point, Keeper of the Force is already edging on his Restoration Stone.
Yeah, he's getting very close to that, true. Melee Rack's below half-life right here, so you see Tempest just spreading out his elementals as well. Kind of setting up a little bit of a fortress here. Now, the top lane is being pushed in the Legion's favor. The middle lane, it's somewhat close to the Legion base, but QsQ not really feeling pressure to defend anywhere else at this point just yet. Obviously, they know how important these melee racks are down here, so they're going to do what they can to make sure Stay Green isn't able to successfully push down here at the bottom lane. But the Token of Life still has 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on it. So
Kraken almost has the Demonic Breastplate Gold. Tempest almost has that Shrunken Head as well. Major item pickups is right here. Depending on how long they can hold off Stay Green outside the space, they could make it happen before this fight. Honestly, if I was at this point, I might even sell my vestments if I was Tempest. That being said, they do have Keeper, they do have Ophelia, and where's the Skeleton?
I don't even know if they do have one right there, yeah. It is in the midst of everything, though.
Might not keep worth that or buyback.
Obviously, the spread coming out from Stay Green right here. You got Kraken kind of pushing up a little bit, but
bringing that Ophelia minion down, the Minotaur. Now,
oh, wow. Talbot forward, actually. Skeleton King, Neto on a Master of Arms. Moraxis in the background. Team of the Master Call comes out. Moraxis will get the kill, though, on a Master of Arms. Tempest kind of running around sporadically right here, trying to find an opportunity. Bubbles. The nice swap from Andromeda. Will it be enough for the end, though? And no, it will not. Ports are coming to release the Kraken in the background. But again, Stay Green as a team just too strong right now. The support is just too much for QsQ to handle. Looks like Tempest does come back. He still has an ultimate to use. And will he be able to use it effectively is the question. And can he, find that opportunity? He's going to be stunned right there. From Moraxis coming back, and Moon Queen will fall in the end. Tempest running out there, gets a Tempest ultimate off, but it's just Kraken right now. Putting in the auto attacks, trying to at least drop Chessie. He will, but Tempest goes down. Style gets a double tap. Bubbles will fall as well, but the Token of Life going to bring him right back up. So now Kraken is just him. He's tanky. He's powerful, man, but he ain't that powerful. He tries to Tsunami charge him into the well, but not going to happen. Andromeda comes back up. The Melee is still alive, honestly. So this is actually, they are technically holding this off. I mean,
technically, they can't really stop Bubbles from taking it.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to hold it in the end. I mean, here comes Tsunami charge. Ooh, the Torrent nearly killing Keeper, but oh, jumping from Moraxis onto Andromeda right there. Andromeda will end up falling. Kraken with the other Parasite, but just too much damage that Melee Rax does eventually go down. So, obviously, buybacks definitely happened right there. I mean, you look at the buyback situation. It is pretty grim now for QsQ, but Stay Green, man, just the team adds the support from one another. It's so hard to kill them here.
Yeah, that fight was kind of weird because Andromeda tried to save the Tempest, but he was so close to the Tempest that it was like a 100 range swap.
Yeah.
On top of that, Master of Arms, he moved up pretty far, actually got tableted in. I'm not sure who did that. That was the Torture or the Ophelia. One of them just absolutely jumped on him with that tablet. He found himself in a horrible spot, activated the Shrunken Head, the King's Grasp coming out from the Skeleton King to keep him in place, and that was just enough for someone to get that final auto attack in as he busted through their defense.
Yeah. Again, buybacks definitely used right there. Jonas Fen out of buybacks now. We got Kraken, Moon Queen, and Tempest all down to one buyback, so that is obviously going to be something to keep in mind and going to no doubt hurt QsQ here. But Moon Queen back to the top lane now. She needs to be careful here. She is going to farm up this last creep wave, but yeah, she is going to fall back. Obviously, there is Stay Green heroes nearby, so Moon Queen falls back before she gets jumped, though. But definitely working towards now finishing that Shrunken Head here at the very least. And we'll have a strong set of items once she gets that Shrunken Head, but still, it's the damage output, overall damage output going to be there, and they need a lot of things to come together.
No, they need a lot more than that. The Shrunken Head's not going to give them the damage. They have plenty of lockdown to deal with. Even through the Shrunken Heads, to see with the Keeper Restoration Stone, with the Ophelia King's Grasp, a huge defensive line in general. It's just going to take more than that. It's going to take a big Elemental Void. It's going to take a big Kraken ultimate, being stuck in that Acid Bomb, and just everything to line up perfectly. Maybe the Ophelia being disabled long enough in that combo that she can't get the heal off, and the creeps die, and just like this huge snowball effect. It's not going to just be, Moon Queen getting one more item.
Savage Mace just picked up by Bubbles, by the way. So again, we are seeing a true carry Bubbles here. Coming out from Slicks, the Grimoire, the Savage, the Shrunken Head. You got Moraxis finishing a Demonic Breastplate. Resto Stone obviously on Keeper of the Forest. He has that double root to work with now. Even scarier for the Legion side. Torture has another 2,500. Z-Freak, man. He is just really doing a great job of just getting some high GPM. Obviously, it's just a team effort in the end, too. But, I mean, 260 gold per minute, and he's level 15, just up there. with even the rest of them. So doing a good job there. Kraken does finish his own demonic breastplate, so good news. Shrunken Head for Moon Queen is getting close, although it's not necessarily the ultimate answer. It still is going to be a huge addition here for the Legion team. You got Master of Arms. I mean, he had a solid start himself, but Shrunken Head Energizer Steam Boots right now. As in their 1,700.
Yeah, I mean, he was sitting on those items with 2,000 gold before. It's just nothing's.
Using the 2 buybacks, obviously.
Yeah, of course, taking it back down effect.
Also clarify that this is a straight-up best out of 3. Of course, being a single elimination event, there's no double or a loser's bracket or anything like that. So this is straight-up best out of 3 series, and this is currently game number 1. There's $1,000 on the line, really, because first place gets $2,000. The runner-up takes home $1,000. So good amount of money on the line, especially for just a weekend tournament, 2-day event, and single elimination 8-team simple format. So one of these 2 teams is going to be coming out to champion. But even obviously the other big thing too is specifically for QsQ side is, or more so I guess for Stay Green, they're undefeated in 34 games straight now. I mean, just to even say you took a game, let alone even win a series off a Stay Green, would be something. So I know QsQ definitely has that in mind too.
Yeah, everything always goes well when your team is winning, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you start losing, it starts a trend. That being said, we've seen Stay Green have a couple hiccups and lose a series here and there. They lost versus Afraid. That was actually their last loss, was in Hontor Cycle 8 versus Afraid in the winners bracket. And since then, they have gone to win 34 games straight. So they're obviously not affected by it. They like to look at their games, learn from their mistakes, and move on from there. I feel like teams get so close, and it honestly comes down to they just make more mistakes.
Yeah.
There are big plays made by Stay Green, but a lot of those big plays come out of these teams just taking dicey plays, making risky plays, and not operating off of just guaranteed scenarios. Or when they have the lead, it seems like they're almost afraid of Stay Green, and they don't push their advantage. That's the other thing. I've seen tons of opportunities where it's like, okay,
earlier with I mean,
yeah, that's part of the advantage I guess you have when you're going to the team. Yeah, as the big bad undefeated opponent, people are just psyched out when they play you, or they get more on tilt. They're like, okay, we need to do this now, and then something goes wrong, and they're like, oh no, now we can't. And then it's like, oh no, and then it's like, oh no, we just dove in without vision, lost 3 of our heroes, and all of a sudden,
game's over. Yep. Well, as far as this game is concerned, we're now about 36 minutes in, as you can see, and QsQ definitely hanging in there, or doing their best to hang in there. 15,000 gold lead, 13,000 experience lead in favor of Stay Green. Now, Moon Queen has a Shrunken Head. She does have another 1,300 gold now saved up, so she is starting to get more and more scary here in QsQ's favor. Again, that's just something they have to lean back on. That with all the minus armor potential too, from the goo.
It is true.
To the Aurora, to the Torrent even on the single target. There is a lot of potential here still. But as we've seen several times throughout this game already, and in fact this is not going to help things even more. Look at Stay Green. They have a timer ready.
Papa Freak sitting behind him, man. He's
letting them know.
He's got the timer.
And boom, there you go. Conqueror's up, and Conqueror is going to die. Well played by Stay Green there. When he would be respawning, you see QsQ heading. I mean, the QsQ started heading over pretty much immediately, and they didn't even get close. Stay Green just burned down Conqueror right there as soon as he respawned. The Token of Life is picked up by Bubbles. Banana's actually going to Torture. I think it's just more so because of the inventory slots. He's kind of the only one with one available, so.
We'll go ahead and pick it up power supply so he doesn't fall off.
Yeah.
Utility, I mean, yeah, Bananas, it's an item slot issue. But he's also helping push. He's helping push with the impalement.
Yeah, with the way he's leveling, and I mean, hell, he's scary, honestly, even himself. So nothing wrong with that.
He's just as useful as 4 of the heroes, 3 or 4 of the heroes there on the Hellborn Legion side. So
there's a barrier idle use, hitting most more accident. Drops and Moon Queen dropping quickly. That's swapped though from it, drawing the defensive message call. But look at Stay Green. They pretty much had that in mind going in. They were going to bait those abilities and then fall back, and that's exactly what they did right there.
So now they get to fight without those 2 ultimates up. That is huge.
No swap for 40 seconds. Master's Call up in about 20 seconds here. But still, it is going to be down. Master's Call might be up by the next time they initiate, but yeah, the swap is going to be close. Now, they might have been, if anything, trying to get the Shrunken Head used, but obviously Moon Queen relying on her teammates to support her there, and rightfully so. So at least they didn't use that, but again, good attempt by Stay Green nonetheless. And they're not And I don't want to say they're in a huge hurry by any means, but again, they are against the Moon Queen, so it's a case of.
I don't even think that's going through the mind right now, just
No,
because of how
probably
Bubbles
not.
is scaling. Relative
Yeah,
to
especially with
right
him
now.
having that token here too. In fact, there we go again. Kraken going to be jumped on. Kraken is pretty damn tanky though. Will it be enough damage? He is going to be swapped by Devil. Look at that drop, and a fall shortly after. The defense master call also
Torture
approaching
game,
plenty of them.
absolute
The Whirlpool coming out from Kraken. The Moon Finale from Moon Queen, and the auto attack's doing a lot of damage right here. It looks like. Will it be enough to actually burn them down though? There's another pair auto use coming out from Stake Green. Kraken still on the front lines. He's starting to fall though finally, and down goes Kraken. Bubbles is still up in the background, but look at Moon Queen putting the auto attacks down on Ophelia, but again, her damage just isn't the highest output right now, and she is going to be on the run. Bubble Shellsurf connects, but he's not going to port with it. The only death is your support Torturer here on the side of State Green. They're going to get the range tracks at the bottom lane. They're going to push this middle tower in the meantime, and there are no buybacks available right now on the Legion side, so melee rack's going to fall right here.
Yeah, he got so close to killing 2 additional heroes. A matter of it being like 10 or 20% more damage. He could have taken out the Bubbles. He could have taken out the. Who else was it? Was it the?
I know Bubbles was low. Ophelia.
Bubbles was low. The Ophelia. The Ophelia was the other target, right? That he had to pull back off on because the Bubbles started applying the Predator. So, well, you got to go in at this point. You can't win from the double racks being taken out. And even then, yeah, not that he would have done anything, but you had to do something. Just going in knowing that, and well, from here on out, State Green was very easily able to punish it, man. That's got to be.
There you go. GG well played. It's a 40-minute game about, but State Green comes out on top. The Bubbles carry. That was also fun to see. He has 5,800 gold at the end there, by the way, that he's just sitting
I want
on,
to see the damage charts for that game.
Oh, I had them up at there near the very end there, but I
Yeah.
gotta check again.
Well, I'm sure that Slicks was very, very high up there.
If you go to hanrec.com, hanrec.com, you can actually, that's a very, very valuable site that you and I have found out about recently. We've definitely been having some fun.
It's been around for a while.
Apparently
now.
it's been around for a while, yeah. But it's a very informational site, and we're also looking to even do more with that site here in the near future too. But I go to hanrec.com. You can search not only stats from any competitive game for the match IDs and whatnot, from players, to also your own personal stats. Anyway, it's kind of just a quick plug right there. But as far as that game goes, yeah, State Green, it's just the team fight once again, just so powerful, proven to be a mistake. Even at the very end there, like I was saying, the way they jumped in, acted like they were going to full on initiate. They got some cooldowns to be used, and they just all fell back immediately. I mean, they're just so good at doing that as State Green, and that's just one of many reasons why they're so successful lately.
There's an added level of strategy when you watch them play, or not even strategy, just team coordination. I would say they accomplish just so much working together. Yeah,
so obviously that puts State Green up 1-0 now over QsQ here in this best out of 3 series. Again, this is the grand finals here for the $5,000 Runic Shift Invitational.
Right.
Fun event put together here for this weekend.
Yeah, we saw some interesting picks coming out that game.
Yeah.
QsQ now down 1 game. They're being denied the Flux, so we're not going to see that Flux coming out. Panda has been known to be played by Nox. I'm kind of looking forward to potentially seeing maybe something like that coming out game 2. The Kraken did work, though.
Kraken was great,
Kraken it wasn't like they picked this weird hero and that cost them the game. Kraken did phenomenal. So
Kraken was great.
I go back to saying I think it's when they overextended there. So
yeah. You know what? Let's actually take another look at that last fight that we had right there at the end of the game to really see exactly how things finished off here. Obviously, this is State Green pushing into the base. Again, I believe this might be the point of where they get some abilities to be used initially. Oh, this is where they jump Kraken. So yeah, they go on Kraken right there. Obviously, he's getting locked down. There's a swap. Look at it, Andromeda just melts. I mean, literally swaps in and dies from full life to nothing in a matter of a second.
Moon Queen is putting out a ton of damage at this point.
Yeah,
but she's
got decent positioning right there, but.
Yeah, she just needs to be a little bit stronger, man. She's not able to punish them hard enough. Something like a wing bow on top of that would have given her the.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, a couple heroes like forced to back off right there. Bubbles. I kind of wanted him to see. This is Moonbeam. His Moonbeam's on cooldown, so he can't really reach that Bubbles. If he was able to kill that Bubbles right there.
He has a token, though, remember, too.
Oh,
so,
well,
yeah.
That's right. That's right. He did have the tokens. That's why he didn't even chase him. So, yeah, honestly,
Exactly.
it didn't. The token on top of everything completely wiped out. Just way too much tankiness, way too much heal. They use that Ophelia so well.
Yeah, and again, it's obviously from the end of there, they pretty much get mega creeps and they finish off the game. So, State Green looking really good yet again. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, obviously you can take another short break here. QsQ, what are we going to see out of them now in game number 2? State Green, I mean, they know what works. Expect to see a very similar strategy, but QsQ, we'll see what we come out of them specifically. So, now with that said, stay tuned. Game number 2, just around the corner, guys. Sit tight.